And just go live. It's fine. We'll just go ahead and go live right now. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Tuesday. It's already Tuesday? It's already Tuesday. Tuesday evening. And here we go with one of these. So you might be thinking, right? Was it today Tuesday? Yeah, today's Tuesday. I can't believe it. I thought maybe it just feels like Monday still to me. Monday just feels like it's still not over yet. But I normally would be streaming my Sunday night stream and wasn't able to do that mainly because the model I was going to paint was incomplete. So I was unable to build and prep the model the day of like I was hoping. So that didn't happen. And then last night, uh, I had built the models that we're going to be painting tonight, but we had an issue with our gas line, which is a little alarming. But everybody's okay, and we were unable to do last night either. So we got tonight. Okay, so tonight we're going to be working on several pieces, but really it's only two actual characters from the Teen Titans set. And those two characters are going to be this guy here, Beast Boy, and we're going to be painting some Hawk as well. Okay, and the reason why Hawk is in there is because he has enough. He has that red in common with Beast Boy, and I figure might as well tackle them at the same time. We're also going to be doing all the animal forms, which is why it's a lot of models, but really only two characters. And then just for fun, we're going to paint the Trigon portal as well. Okay, so this yellow is dry on the Trigon portal. So I want to get a little bit of orange going on in this, and we're going to use, I want to use some blazing orange ink. So we're going to use blazing ink from P3. And what I like about this ink is it's got a nice intensity to it, but it's also thin enough to where you can kind of work it around and not get too overpowered by the orange. Okay, so we're just gonna, I've got it already kind of thinned. We're just gonna kind of work it around, right? We're gonna get, and you just don't want it to pool. But this is kind of a nice, this blazing ink is kind of a nice thing to do with a base coated yellow, and just let the ink help define what this is, and then we'll go in and do some additional highlights on it. But as you can see, you don't need to overthink this. This is just, right? Thought about maybe going with a different color or something like that, but it's okay. We're just gonna do this rather simply. And this isn't actually a functional game piece in 3rd edition yet. I think it will be. So I'm gonna paint it and we'll put it away, and we'll see what happens when Teen Titans gets their own, right? When they get a full deck, then we'll see what's gonna happen there. Okay, so we'll let that dry, and then we kind of need to do the same thing to all these bestial forms, but using a green ink. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing with the green ink on Beast Boy and all the bestial forms. And then we'll actually start working some detail on them. Let me see what I have for a green ink here. If I have a decent P3 green ink, I usually do have a good ink hanging out. Here we go. So we're going to use this green ink and kind of let it get into all the crevices, you know, provide some shade, some shadow for us. And then kind of similar to the blazing ink, we just don't really want it to pool too hard, okay? So we're just looking for definition without pooling. And we're just going to spread this out as best we can across the sculpt, right? So this is the hawk form of Beast Boy. Right. The shape-shifting mechanic is kind of cool that they have for Beast Boy in the game. And yeah, this Teen Titans crew is actually what I consider the prize that I won at LVO. It's really this crew, right? Teen Titans, and we'll get into a little bit into why I chose Teen Titans as my gift instead of the number of other prizes that were available that night in Las Vegas. But you're actually looking at, you know, one of the main reasons right now, right? Beast Boy. And it kind of started with Beast Boy as to why I wanted this set to begin with. It's because Beast Boy can be taken on Doom Patrol, right? Because Beast Boy was actually a member of Doom Patrol. And you can, I know he's much more famous for being on Teen Titans. But he works kind of great in Doom Patrol too. So that's what I wanted. I was thinking about playing Doom Patrol next year at LVO and just playing some more Doom Patrol in general. And I was like, well, really the only model left to get for Doom Patrol that didn't come included in the Doom Patrol battle box was Beast Boy. And Beast Boy existed in the Teen Titans box. So I figure, well, let's get the Teen Titans box, right? We can add Beast Boy to Doom Patrol. And as kind of a side effect of all that, we can play Teen Titans as another team in Batman. So all of those things kind of converged together and kind of convinced me that picking up Teen Titans set was the best move for me. So I went ahead and did that. All right. You can insert all the Harambee jokes you want here for the gorilla form. His gorilla form is actually reaching out over the, you know, the giant 40 millimeter base that it's on. And that's kind of upsetting, but it's okay too. Right? I want my models, I want the minis to stay on their bases for the most part. So, you know, I'm not the happiest with the decision to have him lean off, but that's how he went together. Is the other option is I could have just like not like clipped him off the tab and then just glued him further back onto the base, kind of free form. But that's not what I ended up doing. But yeah, get your Harambee jokes in now while you can. Gorilla form is very strong. I think gorilla probably, in the most generic terms, or at least how I see it, is, the falcon form is the mobility form. And the gorilla form is the, combative, maybe defender form. And the tiger form is kind of a hybrid because you get a little bit extra speed out of a tiger and you get some decent attack power, right? Unfortunately, it's claws, so mixed damage, which is not very good in BMG. You don't really want to do mixed damage, but you know it 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 leaves your opponent standing a little longer. But when it does get rid of them, it gets rid of them for good, right? And mixed damage can be kind of a difficult choice for the defender to figure out, if he really wants to effort or just get that much closer to KO. This looks exactly like Cringer, aka Battle Cat, from the He-Man cartoon, which I'm a big fan of. But for today, he's just Faker Cringer. Right. So now I want to give this kind of ample time to dry. Get all there's a lot of pooling on this model. So we'll get the pooling out. Right. We don't want too much distracting from the tiger stripes when those go in. Okay. Make sure not to leave any bubbles or stains when you're brushing on an ink. They're not very forgiving, but they do such a great job getting your color intensity and your shadow and all that stuff back in. All right. No one's on, so pardon me for a sec while I get a little sip of drink. All right, so we're going to continue with the color blocking. And we're just going to block the other main part, the other main color of this whole section of models, which is the red. Okay. So the best thing to do is we're going to undercoat with some wine red to block the red areas out, and then we'll come back in. We'll come back in with a lighter red to help define it. Okay. Hold on. So given can't really make out the white sections of his suit. We're gonna do something that we generally recommend against, which is we're gonna paint the entire base coat in, and then try to find, where that detail is. Especially when it's a white against a red, it can be very hard to get that white back in and get it to be able to stand up to a very potent red. Right? That's the situation we're going to have here in a few minutes. But while it's not right now, I don't really care. I'm just going to paint the whole thing in. Right? Don't worry about white trimming and detail in a minute. This wine red, such a good utility color, right? It's like the ultimate base coat for painting red. Just really helps you get the effect down that you want from that red. Ooh. Oh. So we get the red down on him and the red on Hawk. And this is going to make it a lot more enticing to push on with my Teen Titans and to try to get as many of them done as possible, because I would love to be able to play them this weekend. Although I don't know if we're playing BMG this weekend. Maybe playing MCP this weekend. Right, just kind of based on who's around. All right. Hey, what's up, Nelson? How are you doing this evening? Yeah, we're painting up some Beast Boy, and we're painting this guy here, Hawk, who honestly I've never heard of until this set. But yeah. How are you doing this evening? We're just trying to figure out what we're playing this Sunday. You want to play Malifaux? Okay. Well, we could do that. And play some Malifaux. I have to meet my dad for brunch on Sunday, so I probably won't be able to start as early as I typically like to. So we could be looking, for me, I could be looking at like a 1 o'clock or even a 2 o'clock game. Try to get this. Okay, cool. That's cool. Hope your grandpa's doing okay. All right. Hopefully nothing terrible discovered or anything like that. All right. Malifaux MCP. Okay. That's cool. You know, we're like I'm on like a crazy BMG kick right now, but that doesn't mean that I'm not down to play any of those other games because I am definitely down to do that. But yeah, I'm getting back to BMG and playing it again. Kind of reminded me why I still, as a game anyway, just as a pure game, I considered it to be superior to MCP. We're still going to continue to play it. But for a minute there, I'd kind of forgotten why in my brain I'd always ranked BMG to be higher in terms of in terms of the miniature game itself. And these past few weeks preparing for LVO and then playing in LVO really kind of reinforced um, just how much I really like this game. Like it's, I, I'll be honest with you, it's just like a lot of other games for me where it's like I don't want to like the game as much as I do because there usually is some challenge with getting into it or getting people or finding games for it, right? That's just me. Whenever whenever it comes to games like that, I always just I just tend to gravitate towards those games that like are kind of obscure, not well supported. Maybe in this case, like difficult to get into the LGS, right? If I had the freedom to kind of promote this game without having to worry about what's on the Comic Quest shelf, right, that I can help them sell, um, I don't think I think I would be looking to, I can say I screwed up, but um, I probably would be looking to kind of grow a decent BMG community for us locally. But like I said, it's hard to get people to like a game and then have them struggle to get the minis or the cards or the pieces that they need in order to play it, right? It's like, oh man, that BMG is such a good game. Where do I get it, right? That happened a few times over the weekend over at LVO. We ran into, um, we actually had Spiky Bits, the blog over there, checking out BMG, and they liked it a lot. But when they asked us, like, oh, where do you get this game? We all just sort of cringed, like, oh, no. And that has to do with, it just has to do with how difficult it is for distributors to fulfill Night Models orders for stores because Night Models does not, they don't have the best shipping, um, they don't have the best distribution plan for their game. And that's an understatement, right? They actually have a pretty shitty distribution plan for the Batman miniatures game. And it's to the point where it's like, it's kind of laughably bad. Like, oh man, okay, well, they don't like your money, but go out and buy their Night Model stuff anyways. You know, some of a lot of frustration with the kits too. Like this is This isn't third edition resin, this is second edition resin, which is like notoriously brittle. But looks good if you can clean it and get it to accept paint well. But that can be a challenge with certain lots of this resin. You know, I painted a lot of second edition Batman 2, and it used to kind of drive me crazy that they couldn't get the resin sculpts right. We down to play BMG? It's been a long time. Yeah. You know, I understand you know, some of your criticism about BMG almost being more like a card game than a miniatures game, because there is so much to do with, you know, how you play your your objective deck, and how, you know, on the board, you know, you don't. It's not necessarily about just getting good combat engagements and winning those engagements. A lot of it's you're not the first person who's given that criticism of the BMG game. Um, you know, one of my other friends that really likes the DC Comics universe, you know, it has not tried this game yet, but heard from another person that the game can be very non-interactive. And I can see where that's coming from, where that comment comes from. I don't think it to be accurate. I don't think that's an accurate statement, because the game is interactive. It's just not interactive in the way that we tend to assume from miniature games, right? It's when we say interactive in miniature games, it's always like we're going to do, you know, we're playing this combat game, and interacting with other players is like um, it really kind of boils down to how you run combat engagements with those players. This game doesn't have it isn't just based on that type of interaction with other players. It's very schemy, right? It's very what's the word I'm looking for? The game has a definite guile to it that, you know, you're going to want to play kind of slick and smooth around your competitors. Hold on. All right, hold on. I got to get my son water. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. lost my headphone for a sec. Hold on one sec, guys. Okay, back. All right. Not really family emergency. My son just wanted a water, so I went ahead and got him a water. And now we can go back to the painting here. How's it going, Shadow Cat? Um, yeah. So, I mean, interesting stat, right? A BMG tournament. Um, I didn't kill a model, right? I played 4 games, killed 0 models, right? Placed 3rd. To me, if you want my honest opinion, that's a good game. I know that's just me, but that tells me that the game itself allows for such a divergent playstyle like mine, where it's like, you know what? I really, and this is kind of, you notice when I play other miniature games that I just don't prefer the combative playstyles because to me, this, and again, just me, um, I feel like every other game is just that, right? And that it's, I find that to be too, I find that to be too derivative in miniature games. There's too many miniature games, in my opinion, where it's like, okay, you put your boys down, I put my boys down. We try to come up with the most efficient situation scenario to remove one another's models, and that determines the outcome of the game. That's very boring for somebody like me who's been in, who's been playing miniature games forever and ever, you know, and and that's why I don't call them miniature war games. Everyone calls them a miniature war game, or they call them, or they say it's 40K as the hobby, and I'm like, well, no, there's a lot more to the hobby than just the war game part of it, and they don't all have to be war games. Um, and so I like that. I like those cunning playstyles where it's not, necessarily about how to eliminate the other guy's models. It's about how you can accomplish objectives um, in the most efficient manner possible, and um, you don't have to eliminate the other guy's models. That's kind of where I'm coming from, right? And that's why I think Batman is such a cool game. Is that I can do that, right? I don't have to just like, even in MCP, when I'm playing, Web Warriors or whatever, still, I still have to look at how to eliminate some of your models when we're playing against each other. That still has to be a part of the plan, because in MCP, that is literally the only way one player's models, are will interact with another's player's models, is by trying to simply remove them from the board. Right? So it's one of the things I really like about Batman. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still there's still really great sort of, you can still play that brutal, confrontational playstyle in Batman. There's still plenty of crews that you could choose from to play that way. The fact that I get to choose to not play that way, though, is what in my opinion, is what makes it such an interesting game. Is, you know, I can pick a crew that doesn't have to do that. The other day I was playing Cobra Cult, which I really enjoyed. I really had a lot of fun playing Cobra Cult. And Cobra Cult was interesting because it kind of gives you a mix of, you know, that suspect heavy playstyle from Riddler, but you're also trying to KO and eliminate enemy models, right, to make more Cobra cultists or more followers. So you get a little bit of both, and I like that a lot about the Cobra Cult, right? And you can, you know, and there's a little bit of deck customization too that you can do in this game to kind of help tailor your crew better to the playstyle that you want, right? I had to really learn, I really had to hone that playing Riddler, because you could play Riddler straight deck, but frankly, it's not optimized for how you want to approach Riddler. You know, the way I approached Riddler was I want a non-combative Riddler that can exercise a crazy amount of control on the board, but doesn't have to kill people to do that. Right? It just, if I do actually kill somebody with a Riddler crew, it's almost entirely accidental. I would rather use my, you know, my AP just scoring objectives, just trying to score and elude and, you know, keep myself ahead of you on that front. Right? That's just me. That's just how I kind of choose to play Riddler. But you could just as easily play a Riddler crew that does, you know, that's going to take a bunch of guns or that kind of thing, and tailor your deck to make it a little bit more combative. Not much though, because, you know, Riddler represents one of the extreme ends of the playstyles in BMG, which is the non-combative, really more suspect heavy crews. And I think, you know, who's probably the most combat heavy crew? I want to say maybe Black Mask. I'm not sure. Maybe Court of Owls. That kind of thing. So if you had a scale that was like, you know, bashy to tricksy teams, Riddler would be on one end on the tricksy side, and then, you know, Court of Owls would be on the opposite side, and then most of the every other crew would fall in some sort of gradient between those two extremes. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that explanation kind of made sense to me anyway. Okay. Let's get a little bit more detail on the face. But yeah. Uh-oh. I hear we're talking about 40K. Oh gosh. At CQ this weekend. Uh-oh. I hope we don't end up having to play at Gamecraft or something like that. Not that I don't like Gamecraft. All right. Did I back Kill Wager? Yes, I did. I did back Kill Wager, but it wasn't a big. I didn't pledge big. I got myself a couple of forces. I watched some gameplay of Kill Wager, and I understand the gist of Kill Wager. And Kill Wager is it is a more of a typical combat-based war game, right? It is what it is. Um, so so full disclosure, it doesn't really interest me as much as, Batman and the other games that we're playing right now because of that. Because I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, ultimately, no matter how you spruce that up, it's still a sort of, how to engage and shoot at each other standard war game. So take that for what you will. Uh, you know, I'm, I think it'll be entertaining. I don't think I'll like it as much as everybody else is, how they're kind of getting into it. But we'll see, right? Maybe, like I said, when Guild Ball first came out, I was like, well, that's a super competitive game. I'm not really a competitive player. I don't think I'll like it as much as, the other people around me that are getting into it. And I ended up liking that game an awful lot, right? So we'll see. All right. Let's get let's start dotting some eyeballs. But yeah, I don't know. If if I get to, for me, if what I would like to play this weekend would be BMG. But I'm down to play Malifaux or MCP or whatever. I'm just saying my preference is still this game. Um, but that's not necessarily the best thing, right? Because this game, as much as I like it, it has a lot of downsides. The main downside being, how do you get people into the game without easy to access product? Right? If we could just point at the shelf in CQ and say, oh, buy your crew and get a set of objective cards and you're good to go. If you could just do that, then sure, we could probably build a pretty decent, I think we could probably build a pretty decent community around it. Like we could probably build a pretty decent meta out of it. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Right? It's actually extremely hard to get Batman into the hands of a retailer with any frequency. All right. Gotta shape those eyes back down. There we go. Okay. Getting there, Hawk. Doesn't even carry those anymore. Last time we checked. Yeah. All right. Let's dot some more eyes on some Beast Boy minis. Yeah. I think Brookhurst only carried Batman when it was metal. They definitely don't carry it now. It's just like Knight. I really think they don't care enough about making money to sell inventory to distributors. They would rather us just order the minis ourselves. So it's a lot cheaper for them, or more cost effective for them, I should say, um, to just collect the money directly from us and just ship directly to us. Okay, I'll fix that in a minute. So he has this like V on his shirt that I cannot, I'm having a hard time seeing. It's like that, like a V like that. Now this Teen Titans is going to have to be a cool project for me for playing some BMG. I think I can make a pretty fun team out of them. Especially when I saw the rules for Oracle. I think Oracle is super fun. So I'll have a lot of fun playing this team. To use Court of Owls, finished a second unit of I have not used the court yet. They're a kind of a low priority project for me in terms of BMG. Right? They're not really where I want to focus post Riddler. I'm going to take a break from Riddler, but I will be adding Calendar Man to that crew, because Calendar Man is amazing on a Riddler crew and hilarious. But yeah, my so I played some Cobra Cult, getting to know them. I'm wanting to also play some Doom Patrol and Teen Titans as well. So that's why we're here. Beast Boy's outfit is very Christmassy. What is going on with these little gashes? Yeah. But yeah, Beast Boy's pretty damn cool. All right, it's pretty good. Okay, not bad. All right. Okay, so now it's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and we're going to start doing some dry brushing on the green to get some highlights on it. And there goes my cat. He wants to get out, of course. He likes to go in and out of the room while I'm streaming. All right. So now let's get I want a bright green. Really light green. This is one of my favorite greens. You could use scorpion green right now, but I'm going to use this moth green. And I picked up a new dry brush today, right? My favorite brand, ELF. From the local Big Lots, so this costs $2 compared to the GW $15 one, right? Much better, even actually better for the job than the GW one. All right. So we're going to just put a little spot like that on there. Get most of it out. There we go. Nice, super soft, right? That's all we're trying to do is get super soft highlights in. Okay. Probably not seeing much of a difference on camera. That's okay. So we're going to get some of our lightness back using this moth green. Right. And I love with a brand new airbrush like that, dry brush like this. You actually want to go fairly gentle, right? Because the bristles are the right springiness right now, which makes this a lot better to deal with. There we go. Right now you're starting to see some definition on these. So we'll do Cringer from He-Man. Happy Year of the Tiger, everybody. From me, a tiger. That is my Chinese zodiac is I was born year of the tiger. So hopefully that means it's a good year for me. I don't know if that's how that works. I don't know enough about Chinese astrology. You can see it's coming in kind of nice there. Getting a little textury, but that's not the end of the world. Actually, kind of nice, given that that's supposed to be fur. Okay, that's fun. Man, when you get a brand new dry brush like this, it's really nice effect on there. Okay. All right. More Harambee jokes. For those of you who remember the internet in 2014 or 2015 or whatever. Harambee was earlier than that, wasn't it? I mean, I don't care enough to look it up, but seems like it was pretty early as far as memes go. All right. Looking pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Okay. Gotta dot some I's. All right. But yeah, LVO is super fun. Played some Malifaux on Friday. Bing and I played in a doubles tournament, and we got our asses handed to us, which is pretty funny because we thought our particular combo would be super OP, and it ends up being kind of just average. There actually were a lot more OP crews and so forth that we ran into. Really looking forward to the rest of Teen Titans, so I think they're going to look awesome. There you go. Would you help if I had better cards than a 4? I know, right? I mean, I still could have played better, but my cards definitely did not help me that day. All right, let's start to amp up the red with a little vermilion. Back to what I need to do. There's like the little zipper line is white too, and it's super hard to get. So I'm going to do my best. Right, we're not trying to make a super visible white stripe, but visible nonetheless. Okay, there. Now, start to highlight the red. Yeah, the cards that was rough. That said, Malifau's still very fun. We had a lot of fun, Bing and I, all things considered. And so we had a good Friday, even though we literally did not win a game during the doubles tournament. That was kind of depressing. I think that may have been my very first tournament experience where I never won a game. Right? I've always managed to win at least one game, no matter what tournament I played in. That was the first time I think that I'd ever scrubbed out, as they say, and didn't win any games. But yeah, Friday was fun. We had some dinner with Michael and his girlfriend that night. Me and Bing, super fun. We found this like Chinese, this kind of upscale Chinese place in the Rio, which had some really good Chinese food in there. So that was really good. And then went to hit the craps tables, and then that's actually where I did have a little bit of luck. Played for about 20 minutes, made $80, and then decided to just go to bed, right? Because had Batman coming in the next day, and I wanted to be fresh for that, right? So the next day, get up, get ready for Batman, and that I think my Batman tournament experience was actually really great. Had a lot of fun at that tournament, and going into it, the only thing I wanted, and this is really the only thing you should want when you're going into a tournament, in my opinion, unless you are like, unless you do this all the time and you've proven to be really good at it. I think that the expectation for the rest of us should really be more around just, trying to play well and being a pleasant opponent, right? For the other person playing across from us. We just want to be a pleasant experience for them. That's all I wanted. I wanted to, play well enough to provide a challenge for my opponent, and that, the two of us would mutually enjoy our games, right? And I feel like I definitely accomplished that, because all the games that I played in that Batman tournament were super fun, and my opponents told me afterwards that they really enjoyed playing those games as well. The Batman crowd there, super nice. Super nice group of guys. The TO Lance was really nice. He kept laughing because I was logging in no kills the whole day, right? The first game he was like, "Hey Octave, you forgot to log in your casualty count," and I'm like, No, I didn't. It's 0. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I didn't kill anybody. Um, and he's like, but you scored 36 points. I'm like, yeah, that's Riddler. That's what he does, right? And the way I designed my Riddler team was such that um, you you if you're stopping to kill people, you're probably working against your own victory plan because you're wasting AP trying to kill someone when that AP, in my opinion, should be focused on trying to score your next card, right? Doing everything in your power to score your next card or prevent your opponent from scoring their next card. So if it's a combat that doesn't yield either or doesn't, bring you any closer to those two results, I say don't do it. That's the point of like if if you have the if you have the choice between walking over to one side of the board and dropping a suspect marker, which will net you 2 points, or killing killing an opposing model, I hope that I'm going to choose drop in the marker because that's to me that's more important is playing well enough to keep you in position to win the game. All right, get some more color here on Hawk, and he's starting to look quite a bit better. So this is Night Model 2nd edition resin, which I used to say is real chalky and soapy. Like it's super dry. It's brittle. Like it has its issues. But I'm just so happy. I don't know. I'm happy that I played well. That I gave every one of my opponents a reasonable challenge, and that we had fun, right? And it just so happens if you play that way, then the results tend to shake out a little bit in your favor. And that's kind of what happened. So, but yeah, I really, really do like playing Batman in tournaments. It's a good, in my opinion, it's a good tournament experience because I didn't end up with like crazy brain fatigue or anything like that. At the end of the day, um, and I get to play, like I said, I get to play in a tournament where I didn't kill any models and I still placed pretty well. That's my favorite thing, actually. Trying to make that as sharp as possible. All right. So what's next here? Let's get some actual white on those areas that were then I gotta figure out what my Teen Titans, what color brick they're gonna be on. Uh-oh. I hear some trouble afoot with my other son. I think he's bugging his mom. Let's see. Let's hope for the best. But yeah, I don't know. It was just a lot of fun to be able to play, Batman, which is a fairly Batman does not need to be a very competitive game. Um, and that said, it's a good game, so you can play it well. But you don't have to treat it like it's your whole life, right? Winning and losing the game. I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that. All right. Let's see. Let's work on Hawk a little bit more. But I really do hope that more of us get to go to LVO next year. Because, I don't know, I just missed that whole gaming convention experience. And like I said, Batman kind of rocked my world. It was great. As far as like a convention tournament game that was fun and tactical enough for you to enjoy, but not so heavy to where you wanted to kill yourself afterward or anything like that. Well, I hear the little guy. Sounds like he's coming down this way. There he is. I'm streaming, little guy. Can you go to your room? Go to your room. I don't want to hear your tablet. Go on. Go on, buddy. There he is. Go to your room, buddy. He's just going to be that kind of kid right now. Little rebellious little kid. All right. It's not bad. Okay. So, Hawk coming in a little bit better. Okay. I'm liking that. Okay. All right. Let's do another layer of vermilion. Might even go with like a kind of a more of an orange scarlet highlight. All right, just push the reds a little bit more. Pretty fun. Good night, Darius. All right. That's not bad. Okay. thinking I want to do like a little bit of like I want to do a gray, but like more of like almost like a greenish, like a mossy gray color on the basing. But before we do that, I want to paint in some tiger stripes, right? So I want to make a super duper thin coat here of rubber black. So just a little bit of rubber black and a lot of glaze medium. And that's going to help me get this cool tiger style. All right. That's pretty easy. We're just going to do some tiger stripes. About as thin as we can possibly manage it. There we go. And then it's just a matter of striping the rest of this. All right. And then let's do love how that is going down, because it's with the glaze medium, it's really the stripes are pretty translucent, so you're still getting a lot of the good detail. See, it's real subtle. I like that. All right. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Right. Tiger went down well. Okay. Here we go. All right. Pretty nice tiger stripes there. Okay. Now let's now we can kind of work on basing. So let's I think I want probably going to start with like basalt gray, if I can find it. See, there might be a better, almost like a warm gray I could use. Let's see. Hmm. Yeah. So we'll start with basalt gray. Oh wait, there's one more detail I want to do before I really get too far. And on Beast Boy, that is just getting a little bit extra shadow into the hair. Right, just reinforce Beast Boy. Is supposed to have, his hair just being a little bit darker than his skin. That's all I'm trying to do. So just putting some of that ink back in the hair to help kind of differentiate that. Okay. All right. Now I can go with the basalt gray. So with my Batman crews, everybody's standing on this style of base, but I try to keep them slightly, I want to keep the coloration slightly different from one crew to the next. So that's why I kind of do this. So I still have 2 Robins to paint as part of this set, plus Starfire, Raven, uh, Wonder Girl, I guess that's it. Okay. There we go. I know that he is right now, it looks like he's matching his base a little too well. Let me know if you have any questions, any comments, any threats. We're painting Harambee Beast Boy. Right. Doesn't that look like Cringer from He-Man? AKA Battle Cat. Alright. Very well. Get all that painted in. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry for a minute. All right. Now I'm gonna get tiny little orange in here. Probably just as a really, really high level highlight. Okay. So we're kind of brightening up Hawk a little bit. And I kind of like it. I don't want to go overboard with it and turn him orange, but it is leaving like kind of a nice color that's still convincing you that it's red. Right, and that's all that really matters here for Hawk. We still want him to convince you that it's red. And he's rocking red. There you go. I like that. There we go. Let's get a little of that color on Beast Boy too, because it's just a cool. May have overdone it on Beast Boy a little bit. Nah. I mean, if he comes off looking a little more orange, it's not the end of the world. There you go. Okay. So as far as the basing is concerned, I think I want to use like a military green almost. Maybe like a camo green or something like that. It's got to be fairly dirty. I could do this Creed camo. It's a little too dark. I don't know. Maybe if I I don't know if I like that. Could do militarum green, right? Although this color is like running out. All right, we're gonna have to. Well, let's use that camo green, that Creed camo. I'm gonna thin it though, right? I want to cut it a little bit. That'll make it easier to apply and keep it open a little bit longer. But where's my contrast medium? Here we go. Oh, I forgot. I'm still painting this thing too, so I gotta paint this base in too to match the rest. Return the map you have stolen to me. Oh, great. Got a spammer. Okay. And all right. So I'll let that dry. And while that guy's drying, let's get the rest of these with that thinned Creed camo. Hopefully. Yeah, it's pretty green, but should be able to just spread it around a little bit. It's not too bad. Right? That's all I'm trying to do. Spread that a little bit around. Okay. And then same deal here. It's not too bad actually. It's got kind of that, like I said, I was going for like a mossy gray green. And that's actually looking pretty good as far as what I was hoping for. Okay. All right. So just kind of let this gray do its own deal there. And here. Ooh. That basalt gray was not dry. So I kind of mucked that up a little bit. We're gonna let that dry and dictate itself. Right. But overall, these guys are looking pretty good. They're just about done. Right. Just kind of let this gray-green wash itself do what it needs to do. Actually, I want to use some of this orange here. And we'll start picking out some of this stuff like flame. Right. Right. All right. And then in the interest of time, I think what I'm going to do, we'll just paint the black in the bases, kind of lock all these up. And then, you know, there's still a little bit of work to do on them, but it's not the end of the world. We're still in very good shape here. Okay. And yes, these are possibly the 6 easiest models in the Teen Titans set, which is fine, right? I'm totally happy to just get Beast Boy done so I can run him with Doom Patrol if I want. So you can immediately go in with Doom Patrol, or what's going to happen too is when the Titans get done, I see him as being one of the more regular guys that gets put on the Titan squad. So he should be seeing a good amount of use. Very versatile model with the shape shifting. And he's not as expensive as you might think for a model that can change his stats at will. All right. We'll let these dry for a bit. And then if you guys have any questions or if you want to see any of the other models, we can make that happen too. Right. I think next up for me is to paint the 2 Robins. So I'll paint Burt Ward Robin and Teen Titans Robin at the same time, as they are virtually the same colors. And then I'll jump from there, I'll jump into Raven. Really paint Raven and Dove at the same time. And then it is gonna be Starfire being the best, maybe the best sculpt in the whole set. Maybe she gets to be last. Yeah, more Russian bots, man. All right. So pretty happy. What's nice about painting all these, the quick ones first, is that it gives you immediate progress, right? There were like 12 models at the start of this that I had to paint. And even though the longer, more intricate ones are ahead, I still have 6 models done, right? That's still the important factor here, is that feeling of accomplishment of getting, 6 done in one shot. And even though now you're pretty much going to be painting just individuals. Okay. All right. So let this dry. And just get this wine red back down here. Kind of help define these little stripes. On his very strange cape. Okay, I'll let that dry. All right. Well, I think that's where we're at, folks. Pretty good progress, considering that was the first night of painting for Teen Titans. Okay, let me. There's still 6 more models to go before the Titans are done. Let's let these dry over here, and I'll show you who else we got coming. Right. So, like I said, probably the next set to paint are going to be the 2 Robins. Right. Got Burt Ward Robin and Teen Titans Robin. Right. Then probably going to be. I'll probably do Raven and Dove at the same time. So Raven and Dove. Dove is a great little sculpt, and she's such a cool piece for the team. And then finally, we'll finish up with Wonder Girl and Starfire, who are really the 2 really super nice sculpts in the set. All right. So, okay, folks, that is going to do it for this stream. I want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good night, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.